Good evening, barflies and lounge lizards, and tonight we'll be discussing my favorite sci-fi aliens from the 1970s. And number 5 on the list is Commander Stone from Jason of Star Command from 1978. Now, Jason of Star Command was a live-action filmation series about a Han Solo-esque freelancer who worked with the aforementioned Star Command to battle Space Sid Haig. Now, being an alien himself, I guess technically I could have done this entry on Sid. I mean, and he looks like a G.I. Joe character come to life. An 80s G.I. Joe character come to life. Very cool looking. But I tried to go with the more alien-y looking. And he's still just a human with a lot of cool stuff on his face. But Jason of Star Command lasted for 2 seasons, with season 1 being 15-minute serial-style episodes. But then season 2 went to full-length episodes. Now, Commander Stone, played by John Russell, was a blue-skinned, by-the-book commander who joined in season 2 to replace James Doohan, aka Scotty, who left to do the Star Trek film. Now, he was part of an unnamed race, Commander Stone, not Scotty, who could put people to sleep by touching them on the forehead and saying the word rest. Now, his race, this unnamed race, they look remarkably like the Chiss from Star Wars. It could be a coincidence, but I'm thinking perhaps there was a little Jason of Star Command influence there from Mr. Timothy Zahn when he was writing the Thrawn trilogy, which makes sense because Jason of Star Command, people who've seen it hold it in very high regard. Now, this series was actually a spin-off series of an earlier series called Space Academy, which starred Jonathan Harris from Lost in Space fame. And Harris was actually supposed to reprise that same role on Jason of Star Command, but apparently, according to rumor, he had a falling out with Filmation. So that's when James Doohan came in to take his place. And number 4 on the list is the Oans from Battlestar Galactica, also from 1978. Now, the Oans were an insectoid race that had been conquered by the series villains, the Cylons, and then brought into their alliance. They would eventually construct a tourist outpost of bars and casinos in order to lure humans in to eat them. But that wouldn't end up going too well for the poor Oans, unfortunately. Now, I am a sucker for insect-like alien designs, and the Oans are no exception. They are extremely cool looking. Green, 4 arms, sexy robes. They had it going on and weren't afraid to show it. As far as their character design, I've often seen it credited to creature designer and stop-motion artist extraordinaire Phil Tippett. I was not able to confirm nor deny that at this time. Now, Battlestar Galactica was a bit before my time, having come out the year I was born, but I remember seeing the toys, some of the toys, on clearance years later. I only had one, the commander guy with the big curly hair, the alien with the big curly hair, but I remember seeing the Oans on the back of the box and thinking they were so cool and wanting one so badly, but again, they were long off shelves. I just lucked out to find the one that I did. Interestingly, there is also an alien race on Star Trek Voyager called Oans. Though, funny thing in my notes here, it actually says Star Trek Voyager. That's quite a typo. And number 3 on the list is The Conductor from Galaxy Express 39 from 1979. Now, I'm going to go with the film here because I haven't actually seen the series. But Galaxy Express 39 is an animated theatrical space opera film based on the manga series by Leiji Matsumoto about a future where humans can transfer their minds and emotions into the bodies of robots. It stars a young boy named Tetsuro who hops aboard the Galaxy Express, which is a spacefaring train, obviously, on a quest for revenge and hijinks. Now, this is a really cool film, and it actually features some scenes with Leiji's other creation, Captain Harlock. Now, the Conductor is a crew member of the Galaxy Express, and is definitely in the Orko school of things, though pre-Orko, where all you can see is the eyes within his conductor outfit. He's short and kind of round, but it just kind of works. Now, he's another by-the-book sort of character, sort of space Orko, but will bend the rules at times. Now, he's clearly more fleshed out in the series, his part in the movie being rather small. But even with the part in the movie being rather small, I still found myself fascinated by this character and wanted to know more about him than really anybody else in the film. Now, Galaxy Express 39 was actually picked up for distribution in the West by Roger Corman, but he shelved it until '82, supposedly because of poor test screenings. But I really can't imagine that being the case, because this really is a space opera lover's dream. A really must-see if you like space opera. And speaking of the different releases, the conductor actually had 3 different voice actors. One for the original Japanese, one for the original English dub, and another for an additional English dub. If you haven't seen this one, and you like space opera, animated films, and trains flying through space, highly recommended. And on that, we should take a break.
I'm making the same great-tasting stuffing in a pan that I used to make inside chickens.
In a pan? Have you lost your bird?
I'm using Uncle Ben's Stuff and Such.
It can't be that delicious.
It is, because Uncle Ben's makes it with the same delicious ingredients I used.
Come on, you need me.
No, I don't. And I can serve Stuff and Such as a side dish with everything.
Even chicken?
Even chicken.
Things are really cooking at Uncle Ben's.
イーブルスイーブルスタート3回転ジャンプやったやりました続いてアカレンジャーフォークサーブライそしてライダーストロンガースリルの連続ですポピーの冒険オートバイチャレンジマシーン君はどのマシンを選ぶか
And we're back with number 2 on the list, and that's Gyan from Godzilla vs. Gyan from 1972. Now, not only is Gyan a giant space dinosaur who acted in a similar role to Godzilla on his home planet, but he's also a cyborg. He actually died on his home planet and was remade by the M Space Hunter Nebula aliens, where he was sent to Earth along with Ghidorah to conquer said Earth. Now, Gyan would prove to be such a popular character that he would go on to make 2 more appearances in the classic series, one in Godzilla vs. Megalon, which is my favorite Godzilla film, and the other in the Zone Fighter TV series. Now, Gyan has one of the most unique designs of really any kaiju, but especially in that era. It almost looks like a monster chicken merged with a hardware store, and he's also a Cyclops. Yeah, you don't get much better than that. And he was actually designed by Shonen magazine illustrator Takayoshi Mizuki, based on ideas by special effects director Teruyoshi Nakano. And his suit actor was Kenpachiro Sasuma, who not only played Hedorah, but would go on to play Godzilla himself in 7 additional films. Now, this is interesting. His name is actually Gyan, but I actually thought it was Gigan because of the way Japanese is pronounced and the GI would be Gi. But it's actually a mixture of the nickname Nice Guy of actor Yujiro Ishihara and the Japanese word for goose. So Gyan essentially is Guy Goose. And now it's time for an honorable mention. This is actually an alien from a little sci-fi film that's so obscure, you probably won't be able to find it to even watch it, probably never heard of it, so that's why he's not actually on the list, because I figure, why talk about one you can actually check out, and that's a character called Chewbacca from a film called Star Wars.
Hi YouTube, Bryn from HorrorHands here, just intercepting this video. I got a message from the Nostromo. What? What do you mean I can't say that? Oh. I didn't get a message from the Nostromo. So I'm just going to talk about Alien. So originally a very small budgeted project called Space Beast. Ridley Scott, he eventually convinced 20th Century Fox to throw in a much bigger budget, and it was beefed up to become Alien, one of the greatest sci-fi horror films of all time. And I think one of the big reasons why this film was so great and so iconic is because of the look of the alien creature in this film. I love that it's kind of both, it has human features and physiological features, but also kind of fuses in like almost like an industrial look. It has like metal and pipes and wires running through its body. So you get a really effective mix of kind of human, metal, and then kind of slimy alien beast as well. It really fuses together to make a fantastic looking creature. And because of kind of how it looks, it can both just full on come at you like an alien monster, or it can be a bit more smarter and it can use its appearance to use the environment around it like a spaceship. It can hide in the walls and hide in the roof and almost just become part of the environment it's in to spring up on you. So that's why I think Alien is one of the best and definitely deserves its place on this list of best 70s aliens.
And number 1 on the list, and that is Dr. Gory from Spectre-Man from 1971. The first major Japanese superhero series of the 70s, Spectre-Man told the story of an alien invasion by the aforementioned Dr. Gory and the hero Spectre-Man's battle to stop Gory from conquering the Earth. This entry could have been made about Spectre-Man himself being an alien, but I love Dr. Gory design. Funny thing about Dr. Gory, he actually loves the Earth and is horrified by the humans' mistreatment of it. So he wants to conquer it to save it by using the same pollution to create monsters. Now, Dr. Gory, the Space Ape Man, is just fantastic. You probably know by now that I love Planet of the Apes, I love Time of the Apes, I love ape people in general. But you take one of those, make them kind of green, give them blonde hair and a stylish pink suit, you're speaking my language right there. Now, the suit actor was Takanobu Toya, and he was also one of the alien henchmen in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Now, Dr. Gory, the name Gory, just short for gorilla, because he doesn't need anything fancy. He's Dr. Gory. Now, Spectre-Man lasted from 71 to 72 and featured 63 total episodes, all of which were dubbed and released on the West. And speaking of that dub, it was actually co-written, and several of said voices were performed by Mel Wells, who is probably most famous for playing Mr. Mushnick in the original Little Shop of Horrors. So if you don't know Spectre-Man, go check out some clips on YouTube, especially the dub. I love those dub voices. And that's all the time we have for this week. Please like, comment, subscribe,
and garbage.